Hey Daz, how you doing?
I'm good, mate. How are you?
I'm all right, man. How's it going?
Oh, yeah, yeah. It's not too bad, Ducking and diving, dodging and weaving, and all that kind of thing, like you do.
So what time is it over
Uh,
there then? Are you in LA at the moment? Is that where you are
yeah,
now?
5 past 11 in the morning. Yeah, just got back from the gym.
Ugh, jeez. Yeah, I tried that once, didn't like it. Won't do it again. I've been wanting to talk to you for a while. I'm really glad we managed to arrange this because I know you've been really busy all over the place, but I'll talk about it in a few minutes because I saw you in Rogue Warrior not so long ago, and I'll talk about that just in a bit. But I've been reading a bit about your bio, and you've got a really interesting history. I mean, a Liverpool boy, yeah.
Ooh,
So you
yeah,
still,
that's right. Originally from Liverpool, yeah.
yeah, still got the
Still
accent.
amazing. But I'd sit back, like, I mean, I used to talk like this all the time, like.
You should try it in California. I bet that goes down great.
Well, they would not understand a clue what I'm saying.
So, how did you get into the acting thing? Because I mean, I know I'm looking at your bio, and it's an interesting history.
Oh, sorry.
It's all right.
Yeah, let me just turn that off. Yes, it is. How did I get into acting? Very interesting and a good question. I was in the Air Force, Royal Air Force from school, and then when I came out of the Air Force, I didn't really know what I was going to do. I had no idea. I'd been approached a few times by photographers because I always kept in shape. I was a boxer for England, and I played national basketball, so I was always into sports. And a lot of photographers back then, they just wanted to take photographs of my body. I know.
Yeah, I get that all the time too. It's just
that was the beginning, and that to me, I guess, was the seed for going towards entertainment, because that's what I saw it as.
Yeah.
And then, being a big guy, I went to London, and I did what Dick Whittington did. I just went to see if the streets were paved with gold. And
so you did the thing. You went to London to find your dreams and all that stuff, man. Yeah, okay.
I really did, and I started off because I was older. It wasn't like I was a kid, actor.
Yeah.
I was a realist. I could see right through the industry. It's very shallow. It's very fickle.
Yeah.
Here today, gone tomorrow.
Yeah.
You don't work. You do work. You don't work. Where'd you get your money from when you're not working? There's lots of things that you've got to take into consideration.
Yeah.
And being a guy who'd come from nothing, I would hold on to my pennies and try to be frugal.
Yeah.
When I first went to London, I found a cheap room in northwest London, and my way of thinking was, right, okay, I'll try and get some agencies first, some model agencies and extras agencies or whatever, stuff like this.
Yeah.
And I needed an income, so what I used to do was drive. I've got a license, a PSV license, PCV license. So I could drive. I used to drive mentally handicapped children to school in the morning and in the evening, and that would give me, and then I was free during the day, so I could go to auditions.
Yeah.
So I had a bit of an income coming in while this is right at the very, very beginning. And I remember I got with a few model agencies, and the money started to trickle in.
Yeah.
Then I was asked if I would go on a movie set to be a background extra. At the time, I had no idea what background was. I said, what an extra what? What kind of an extra?
And how far back? Yeah.
It was a movie. It was an old, I can't even remember the name of the movie, but it was a very old, kind of a Greek god type movie.
Okay, right.
I remember getting there at 5 a.m, 200 extras, and they put a beard on me and a wig and a kind of a tunic type dress thing.
Right, okay.
And then they just said, right, sit over there. And for 5 hours. Now, that's not me. I'm a doer. I need to do stuff. I can't just sit around doing nothing. So I'm sitting around and I'm listening to the conversation of all these extras. It's the same conversation. what agency are you with? What agency are you with? How long have you been doing this? How long have you been doing this? Everybody's saying the same thing. Oh, I'm going to go with your agency. Oh, it sounds like you're busy. Back and forth, back and forth. And I found this really old lady. It was really interesting. And she did background stuff.
Yeah.
All the time. EastEnders, The Bill, movies. That's what she did for a living.
For a living, right? Okay.
Yeah. And she said to me, Daz, she said, if you want to be an so what happened was during the day, about midday, a couple of actors came out, quite well-known actors.
Yeah.
Powers Booth, who's just recently passed away.
Yeah.
And Eric Roberts, Julia Roberts' brother.
Yeah.
So the director came up to me and they placed us on the set, and the director said, one of the actors will probably come over and talk to you. Don't say anything back, but just make it look like that you're acknowledging it.
Yeah.
And I watched these two actors do their scene, and then Eric came over towards me, and then he just kind of mumbled something and then walked off.
Yeah.
And then we left the set. And then they said, right, everybody take a break. So I sat down with this old lady again. And I just thought to myself, I've been here for 7 hours now. Two actors came over there. They came out for 5 minutes and now they've gone. Now I'm sitting back here again. Doing what? She said, I said, I want to do that job. That's where I want to go. And she said, Daz, if you want to be an actor, you've got to go to drama school.
Yeah.
Any job, you've got to learn the craft.
Yeah.
And I said, yeah. She said, don't come back, because I was booked on the job for 6 weeks.
Right.
That's the first day. So I decided not to go back. And I went to a theatre back in Norfolk, where I was living, the Madden Market Theatre, and I did some classes there. Then I went back down to London, and then I went to the Actor Centre in London for 3 years, which is very good because you can do classes in between your jobs.
Right.
It's not somewhere where you have to go every day, but you can go as much as you want.
Yeah.
Learned a specific technique, and I did it for 3 years there, and then another 4 years, the same technique, which was Meisner, which is a type of acting.
Okay.
Over here. So it was all by accident. And I remember being at the Actors Centre, and as you know, I've got a very colourful background, and my beginnings were pretty humble.
Yeah.
It made me a very deep person. Keep a lot of things to yourself.
Yeah.
Don't show any emotions. Don't be weak. Don't be vulnerable.
Yeah.
And then I was in my class with a teacher, and a teacher from New York. Her name was Bathsheba Garnett. And during my classes with her, it was really interesting because I found something during my classes which hit me personally.
Right.
Which was, as an actor, all those emotions I've just said to you, being vulnerable, being closed off, being... You have to be those things to be able to be a successful actor.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, I had to open up and be able to laugh and cry and be vulnerable. And it's okay. And all of a sudden, I'm going through all these emotional... Well, I wasn't at first.
Yeah.
But eventually, when I did get there, I saw something that all my life I hadn't been honest.
Yeah.
I hadn't been truthful to myself. I hadn't shown anybody any true feelings of how I felt in the moment at that time. And it was a real eye-opener for me. And so I actually used my acting lessons to improve my own personal life.
A kind of therapy almost, I suppose, in a way, yeah.
100%. It was really interesting because now I could accept, when you're a guy growing up in Liverpool in a real tough area, you don't cry, you fight, and you get on with it.
Yeah.
And there was no such thing back then as, I've got a problem, I've got this problem, mental problems, mental issues. You get on with it. And these things were the things that I had hidden all my life, and now as an actor, it's okay.
Yeah.
that's the beginning. That was just the beginning, you know.
Well, I mean, around about this time or around early on, I know that you're in, was it the kind of reboot of Gladiators? Now, I didn't see the reboot. I saw the original stuff.
No, absolutely wrong. I was in the original.
Were you in the original as well? So
No, I was only in the original.
Oh, right.
In 90, because I only went to London in 1998.
Right.
And when I had an opportunity, one of the gladiators had just been fired,
right.
and they needed a replacement. And a friend of mine knew Ken Warwick,
right,
who was a producer on the show, and they said, look, they're looking for somebody. So I just was around. I was lucky. And I did the last 2 years of the series.
Yeah, I think I stopped watching it probably by then. I think I watched the first 2 or 3 when Wolf was in it and all that stuff. And it was great. It's good fun.
They were still there. Like I said, I came in right at the very end, so most people who were into it, who stopped watching it, they wouldn't have seen me.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, was it enjoyable? Was it good fun? I mean, it was great fun to watch. I mean, it was just fun,
It was really interesting. That was another interesting thing, because obviously I'd seen it on the television.
Yeah.
You don't know what's going on behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And it was. I would say, looking back, there was a few little cliques within the team. There was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
There was a lot of social fun.
Yeah.
And as a sportsman, as a true competitor, I didn't realise that it was a TV show, and I was focused, and I'm going to kick this
You
guy.
want to win. You just want to win.
I want to win. I'm not used to going into competition with a guy who's a lot smaller than me, because all the guys who I boxed were bigger. And I'm 105 kilos, so this guy is stood in front of me, and he's 70 kilos, and I pummeled him. And I realised very quickly that, oh my God, this is a TV show. I need to make this bit more exciting.
Did they ever do that sort of thing? Then did they ever say to you, "Look, go easy on this guy," or make it pan out a wee bit? No.
What they would do, it's quite clever. It was never fixed.
No.
Because the competitors, they wanted to win.
Yeah.
But what they would do is, they were clever. They knew which were the strong games.
Right.
Each gladiator was strong at, and which gladiator was weak at. So if they wanted a contender to potentially or maybe win, they would pick a gladiator that wasn't very good on that particular game.
Right. Okay.
Hoping that he would lose. But he could have won, you never know.
Yeah, I mean, I know you've got a big sporty kind of side to it. I was wondering, because the thing with social networking, you're allowed to kind of almost stalk people for, legally, and see what the people are up to. I wondered why, you eventually mentioned why now, it explains it, that you lived in Norfolk for a while. Am I right in saying that you're a Norwich City fan? Would that be right?
Well, no, I'm not.
I've seen you go to a few games, is that correct?
I go to the games there.
Yeah, right, okay.
Because I live there.
Right.
I'm in the UK, that's where I go to. I was stationed in Norfolk.
Right.
My last 2 Air Force stations were in about 5 or 6 miles from Norwich.
Yeah.
So, and I had a place there. I've got a business there.
Right, okay.
So, I and my friends were there, my old social friends were there. So
okay.
that's where I typically go when I go back to the UK.
Okay.
That's the reason why I'm in Norfolk.
Right, I wondered why Norwich. I just wondered why Norwich City.
I'm a Liverpool supporter. No.
Well, I'm a Leeds fan, so I don't really want to talk too much about football at the moment, mate, because it's not a good time. Seriously, it's not a good time. So, am I right in saying then that the first, maybe one of the very first major films that you're in would have been Blade 2? Would that be right? Was that the first major piece of work that you've done motion picture wise?
No.
What was
wrong.
What was the first one that you did?
James Bond.
Oh, The World Is Not Enough. Yeah. The bag.
Well, I mean, that was the first major one.
Yeah.
I was in another one. That was just after Attila with Gerard Butler. Yeah. So the first one was James. In fact, I did James Bond while I was a gladiator.
You see, that's not bad, is it? That's not bad. Your first part, you're a Bond baddie. I mean, holy moly! I mean, how good does that get?
I moved to London in a January of the. I remember it being a January, and I remember I looked 12 months later. I looked back at those first 12 months, which I didn't like the first 7 or 8 months. Very, very hard.
Yeah.
It's cutthroat, It's,
yeah.
And I looked back and I thought, well, I'm a gladiator and I'm in a Bond film, and I did that in the first 12 months. And I thought to myself, if you can do that, you can do anything. Anybody, if you set your mind to it, you can get anywhere.
Yeah, I mean that would have been what Timothy Dalton, wouldn't it? Obviously playing Bond. But what was it like then? In opposite Dalton? Not Dalton, rubbish. Pierce Brosnan. I'll get my facts right in a minute. Pierce Brosnan. Yeah. What was it like with him?
It was really good. I mean, I was looked after amazingly by production.
Yeah.
And Bob Buckley is gorgeous. She's lovely, and it was because it was my first something like that.
Yeah.
I did laugh because I remember. I'm going to give you my thoughts while I was on set, which I know is not what actors do. So, first of all, when we did a rehearsal, Michael Apted said they realised I'm a British guy, and they wanted me to do a Russian accent.
Yeah.
Which I had no clue what to do. But luckily, there was a speech therapist there.
Yeah.
For Sophie Marceau, and she taught me the few lines I had. She taught me how to say them in Russian, so we got with that.
Yeah.
I remember on the first take, and there was about 200 extras and everything set up. And Pierce walked in and he said his line to me, and I had to respond. And I remember thinking, "Effing hell, Daz. You're a James Bond villain.
Yeah,
you're in a James Bond movie."
I would have said the same. Yeah.
That's exactly what I was thinking. I wasn't thinking. I knew what I had to say, but I was thinking, "You're in an effing James Bond film. You're a villain. This is so freaking cool." And that was my first thoughts.
Yeah.
And, after that, I mean, it was a great. I mean, I think I was there for about 2 weeks in total for rehearsals and then shooting periods and whatever. It was great.
Yeah.
I couldn't fault it. I know, when you get a taste of something like that, it's almost like winning a small jackpot on the lottery, knowing that there's a bigger one out there.
Yeah, yeah.
You get hooked.
I can imagine, because I mean, I think part of me, if I'd have been in your situation, I would have certainly been in that bloody hell. I'm a Bond villain. I'm also. I would have been there totally. I would have also maybe thought, is it going to ever get any better than this? Because it's a bloody Bond film, for crying out loud. But I mean,
start there.
Yeah, it's not a bad start, is it? I mean,
no.
the Blade 2. I mean, again, that's a kind of similar thing. I would have thought in a way, because you've got Wesley Snipes, you've got Chris Christopherson, you've got Ron Perlman, you've got Guillermo del Toro directing the damn thing. I mean, holy moly, jeez.
And I have to say, that was probably, on the big picture, I think I've done better work since, but probably the best job I've had.
Yeah.
That I enjoyed. I mean, working with Guillermo del Toro, amazing.
Yeah.
And Wesley and Ron and Chris, all really great people.
Yeah.
I had a good relationship with Ron Perlman.
He's one of my favourite actors. Ron Perlman I think is a genius. He's an amazing
person. He's an amazing person.
Yeah.
So it was definitely 3 months in Prague. The whole thing was great.
Would I be correct in saying that there might have been a little bit of partying going on then, when in between filming with that group?
My answer would be, we really did live as vampires. We did and we came home in the morning.
Yeah.
And got back. So it was definitely. Wesley likes to. He's got one of his hobbies is DJing.
Right.
He had a big villa, and we would go around there and he would DJ.
Yeah.
A weekend or whenever we had a night off, whatever. It was a good, great.
It's interesting to say, because obviously that's one of the things that obviously leaps out when you're probably being interviewed. People will talk about that and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and stuff. It's interesting you say that you've probably done better work since. What do you think has been your best work in anything that you've done?
As an actor, as an actor now, I've done something which is not out. It's not out there actually.
Yeah.
It was a teaser for something, And a friend of mine out here now, a director, he had a really interesting story to do with his personal life.
Yeah.
And he wanted to incorporate something, part of this, into a new TV show. And we shot a teaser. And it just fitted.
Yeah.
The role is very rare that, you know, he said to me, you know, this guy needs to be ex-military. He needs to have come from a background with possibly a broken childhood or no parents. Everything he said to me was me.
Yeah.
So when I listened to him and he was describing, before we shot it, when I was describing it, it just hit me.
Yeah.
Because I had a personal search for myself to try and find my father, and in the role, the person is similar.
Yeah.
But slightly different, but similar. And for me, there's a teaser out there. It's called Walk Away.
Okay.
If you search for the word Walk Away, or one word,
okay,
you may find it.
I'll have a look at that. Yeah, I'll have a look.
4 minutes long, very deep.
Yeah.
And for me, it was spot on. But that wasn't something that anybody's seen.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
It's a personal thing rather than a public thing.
Okay. All right. Okay. I mean, does it annoy you then that maybe your best work hasn't been seen, or is it good enough that you've actually just done it and you've got there and been there?
It's so frustrating. Do you know? I understand Hollywood.
Yeah.
And how they try to box you and stereotype you, because that's to make it easier for the audience.
Yeah.
That is the big. You know, they're not going to give a big guy role, the little guy role, unless it's comedy.
Yeah.
They just do it for the audience. It's very frustrating as an artist who has all the emotional ranges, has been trained to do all those, just like a guy who's 5'7".
Yeah.
Will not get the opportunity because they're 6'3".
Yeah.
And 20 pounds.
Yeah.
That's he's the big guy. He can only do this and he can only do that. It's very, very frustrating.
Yeah, I can imagine.
You know, it's very rare that I've played in one short movie. I played a doctor.
Yeah.
I had the opportunity to play the doctor, which was fine. But in a normal TV show, it's very hard for me to get in the door of casting because they don't see me as a doctor or a lawyer or a pilot. They don't, because I don't look like those roles.
Yeah.
That's very frustrating.
And I think I think that probably happens a lot, not just for someone like yourself, but for women, how they look, you know, and also,
yes.
you know.
I mean, the example I use is: can you imagine if you've studied 7 or 8 years to become a doctor, and you finish your training and you go to the hospital and you've been there another 3 or 4 or 5 years, 10 years into your career.
Yeah.
And then the head doctor, the head of that hospital, says to you as a doctor who's been doing it for 11 years, do you know what, Stuart? You don't look like a doctor. You look like a receptionist. Today, you're going to work on reception.
It's true, isn't it?
You've worked for 11 years and you've studied and you've trained and you've done it all. And because you don't look like a doctor, you're going to be a receptionist.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
Yeah, it's so true. It is so true.
It's frustrating.
But I mean, you guys as actors, I mean, obviously, it's a lot of it is how you look. I mean, it is, you know, it's based upon perception, isn't it, and how somebody fits what we kind of decide is their little niche, whether, you know, whatever the colour of your skin is, if you're male, female, if you're northern, if you're southern, you know, or whatever. And I think we like to think we've made progress, but I don't think in some ways we have we, really, in some ways?
Well, you know, it's 2 steps forward, 1 step back.
Maybe.
I mean, I purposely did a demo reel, my demo reel that's out there.
Yeah.
I purposely did it with comedy, with drama, with action, with all different emotions, because I don't want people to put me in a box. I could have done a demo reel, a 3-minute demo reel with all action.
Yeah.
So when that goes out, everybody's going to think, oh yeah, he's the action guy,
Yeah.
you know, he's a kid or a big kid or whatever. But I did it on purpose to think, well, okay, you can do comedy. You know, I played the boyfriend of Katherine Heigl.
Yeah.
You know, an Oscar nominee.
Yeah.
So and it was a comedy blind date, and the movie was fine.
Yeah. Do you find it then a little bit frustrating when people like myself or whoever will go straight for the Blade, for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.? I mean, it's what you're known for. Your name's out there in terms of that. So in one way, I suppose it's great because it gets you that whatever it might be. But do you find it a bit frustrating that, like, I'm going to ask you about Kibo and all that stuff? Is it going to be?
No. I'll tell you why. Because right back at the beginning again, when I was doing the Gladiators and then Bond, and right at the beginning, I also used to sell sports equipment on QVC.
Oh, right, okay.
So I had a following of middle-aged women.
Right.
From QVC. So when I went out, I would be down on the subway, on the tube in London, and people would say, "Hey, Diesel, Gladiator, Diesel, Diesel." People would shout.
Yeah.
And then 10 minutes later, there'd be a lady walking along going, "Oh, I saw you on QVC." And then someone else, "Hey, Bond." So what happens is you get genres of people who have favourites, types of movies, TV shows. I happen to be in each one of them.
Which is great,
so
isn't it?
I have fans from different genres.
Yeah. So have you done the cons and have you done the conventions on the result of, say, like...
Yeah.
What's that been like?
I'm doing one in Edinburgh in April as well.
Actually. Oh, nice. Cool.
I've done one out here in San Diego. Amazing. Yeah. I mean, the stories, some of the fans, one guy who came to me, he'd saved all his money up all year. He'd got a train from Chicago, which is 2,000 miles away. He came to talk to me every day. So he must have bought every picture 5 times.
I mean, we can be a bit passionate, the fans. I mean, I'm an aging geek now, but I was a geek back when it wasn't cool to be a geek. Now it is kind of cool, it's
cool. And go with it.
Yeah, doing it. What was it like in terms of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.? Because end of the second series, I think it would have been that you appeared in that. You first appeared.
That's right. Yeah, I was booked for one episode, and it was the last episode of the series.
Right.
And then that was the end of it. I didn't think anything more of it.
Right.
And then I came back to the UK, and I was doing bits and pieces in the UK, and then I got a call. I was in the UK.
Yeah.
That I was going to be back on the show for a few more episodes in the new series, which was great news.
Yeah.
And I'd never worked as a regular on a TV show, and that became very interesting for me again as an actor.
Yeah.
I'd only have done guest star roles, co-star roles, movies, which are all in one specific time.
Yeah.
When you're on a recurring, and it's you're working every day.
Yeah.
Just like a job.
Yeah.
Just like a job.
Did you know how long you were going to be on it? Was it a case of you would fight? Because I can imagine if it's just if a few episodes, but you're not told exactly how many it's going to be. Did you know how many you were going to be doing, or was it just like week to week?
Yeah, they told me.
Yeah.
They said roughly how many I was going to be on for.
I also must think it's strange if you're a kind of an actor like yourself who has a guest on a show and then maybe you think, well, I'd love to stay on it a wee bit, or I was talking to not so long ago Vincent Ward, who was in the third series of The Walking Dead. He played Oscar in one of the convicts, and he said that what he used to do, he didn't know how long he was going to be in the series, so every time he got a script, he would just go to the end, see if he was still in it, that sort of thing.
That was, I knew it was coming.
Yeah.
I got a phone call the night before, because what happens every Thursday, we have a table read. Right. So you get given the script, everybody gets given the script, and we all read it out, and there your lines are. Yeah. What happens to you, But at the same time, I was talking to a few of the writers, and it doesn't mean just because you got electrocuted that you died. I mean, you could have a twin brother. You could be a clone. Yeah. You come back as an electric man.
Well, I'll say a few of them have come back now and again. So it wouldn't be the first time, would it? Really?
No, people come back all the time. So it's not like to me, never say never. Yeah. Especially in science fiction and things that aren't really real. Yeah. Anything. You can do anything.
I take offence at that. Science fiction, it's all real. It's all real, mate. Talking about sci-fi, which brings us nicely on. Well done. That was a nice little segue onto Rogue Warrior, because were you a sci-fi fan before this?
Oh, my life.
Yeah.
Star Trek, Star Wars.
So, what's your favourite? If you had to nail down a favourite film, sci-fi film, just give me one off the top of your head.
Well, I would go with so many. I guess because I was a kid, it was the Star Trek, the original William Shatner Star Trek.
Yeah.
It's so cheesy and corny. And when you look at the sets of those now, and you just see the colours, and you can see them in a studio.
Yeah.
I just think it was. Iconic.
Yeah.
I do like the new ones, but the old ones, I don't know. I like that.
There's a charm about the original series that it's obviously so dated now, but I can still watch them. I still love them. Have you seen the new series? Have you seen Discovery? Then do you like the?
I watched all those. Yeah. I watched them. I'm a sci-fi geek.
Yeah. Cool.
It's what I like. I like those kind of movies.
So how did you get the role in Rogue Warrior then? Because I've got to know just a little bit, Neil Johnson, who directed it, and he's asked me. I've asked him to give a couple of questions. So I've got a couple of questions from him. I'll come to those in a minute.
Okay.
So how did you get that role? How did you land the role? How did that come along?
Well, I saw the breakdown for the audition, as a career as an actor, people will want you for cheap or free all the time. And I remember when I first started, I was doing free stuff until I demo reel together. Then you could, there's a certain start rising up. You can say, no, I don't want to do that. Unless I'll still do independent movies if the role is good. Yeah, I don't mind. So when I saw this, I thought it was science fiction. I thought, well, I like that. And I thought I'll just submit. I'll just do a self tape. Yeah. And see what happens. Yeah. And they contacted me and said, "Yeah, let's get you in."
What was it like? What's the experience like then of filming? What? I mean, you can tell me. What's he like, Neil? I bet tyrant. Is that what he is? I can imagine.
Do you know? Tell you it now. I think Neil will take it as a compliment. I've worked with a lot of directors. Yeah. And everybody's got their own methods and their own ways, and some I agree with, and some I don't. We've all got our own opinion. Yeah. And there's two things that I remember one thing, but with two directors. One was Neil, and one was Guillermo del Toro. And both those directors, in my experience, I felt like they let you bring something to the table that you want to bring. Right. A bit of freedom. Yeah. That was one of the things I remember. And the second thing was, at the end of the day, even though they're long, tiring days, I didn't feel tired. Yeah. With both those directors, I didn't feel, even though they were long days, I just didn't feel tired because I felt excited. Yeah. And I enjoyed it, and I liked it. I wanted to do it again. Yeah. I'll give you that.
Yeah, I spoke to him a couple of times, and what comes across with Neil is his passion and probably single-mindedness, which I suppose you need to be a director. I don't suppose you've got to be something of a dictator, or at least single-minded in your approach. I've seen the finished project, and for an independent film, I think it's incredible in terms of how it looks. It's a good action film, isn't it? Don't you think?
First time I watched it, I 100% agree. I was blown away. For an independent movie, I watched it in a theatre over in LA, and I was blown away.
Well, this comes to one of the questions that sorry to interrupt. One of the questions I said to Neil, right, give me a couple of questions that I can ask Daz. And he said, one question was, he said, you seem flabbergasted at the Rogue Warrior premiere. Why? Why were you flabbergasted?
Yeah. Because of the quality of an independent movie. I've seen, you see lots and lots of different finishes of movies and lots of money spent on movies. Yeah. And I knew this was a tight budget, and I knew it was going to be hard, difficult, and I was just thinking, this is really, really good. Yeah. Yeah. For an independent movie, this cannot be faulted. Yeah. You cannot. It hasn't got these hundreds of millions of dollars.
No.
That Star Wars and all the rest of them have got. this was an independent movie that, obviously Neil's he's done a few projects before, so he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
But it was, you get people to watch it. I mean, people may slate it, they may take the mick out of it, but when you haven't got a lot of money, it's really good.
It belies its origins in terms of money and that sort of thing. He did ask me another question about. He said, "Will your character return in a future Rogue Warrior, even though he is, spoiler alert, dead?" So come on. Are you going to return? Would you return?
Did he ask you to ask me?
He asked me to. He said, "Will your?" He asked me. He said, "Will your character return in a future Rogue Warrior, even though you are dead?" Go on. Honest to God, he asked that.
All I say to that is, without a spoiler alert, is never say never.
Never say. Fair enough. I did ask as well, William Kircher. He was a bit cheeky. The question was, what was it like? And I think you can probably guess what sort of question William's going to ask. What was it like to be in a love scene with Tracy Bearson?
I knew that was going to come. I knew it. I could have actually said that to you.
So you can't get off with a never say never bit now. So you got to say, come on,
All I will say is, William, are you jealous?
I think it is. I think that's all it is.
That's all I'm going to say.
And believe between you and me is not the only one. So there you go. So what's for the future? What's going to be happening? What you can talk about in terms of for Daz Crawford?
I'm always flying back and forth. I have a business in the UK, so I'm always back there when I'm not doing something here. I'm out doing auditions again at the moment.
Yeah,
that's pretty good auditions. I woke up yesterday with an email. I may be flying off somewhere next week. I may not. If you see my post on next week, then you know I'm going somewhere exotic.
Nice.
And I know I'm this close, but in this industry, stuff all the way.
I can imagine.
At the moment, I'm just enjoying.
Yeah.
As an actor, you don't always work, but you work on trying to get work.
Yeah.
I've got a commercial agent here who's obviously submitting me for stuff. My theatrical agent's over in New York. My manager's here, so they're all submitting me for work. I could get off the phone from you right now and have a job waiting for me in my inbox.
Yeah.
And my plans at the moment is over the next few weeks is just to, unless this job happens next week, is just to carry on with my auditions.
Yeah.
And hopefully book something nice.
Cool.
I think I'm coming back to the UK in, like I say, in April into Edinburgh.
Well, hopefully I might try and get down to that, because I'm just north of Aberdeen, so I'm about 40 miles above Aberdeen. So Edinburgh's about, 150 miles south of me, something like that. So maybe I'll come down and we'll do a face-to-face thing as well.
Yeah,
and then you can tell me the inside story of the Rogue Warrior future and that sort of thing.
Oh yeah, I can't do it publicly. I couldn't. Yeah, you can post it.
Listen, mate, I
look back at last year. Obviously Jungle Book. I did all the motion capture for Jungle Book. I've done Kratos for God of War.
Yeah.
There's so many characters I've played.
Can I just ask you about the motion capture stuff for Jungle Book? So I had read that, and in terms of an experience, how different was that from anything that you'd ever done? I mean, obviously it is different, but in terms of, did you find it difficult, or was it just a natural type of experience for you?
Well, this is unusual because I did all the motion capture for Kratos in the game God of War for Sony PlayStation, and back then, the motion capture, you would walk onto an arena with your suit on, and you would do certain moves. They'd be recorded 2 minutes, put into the computer, and carry on. With the motion capture for Jungle Book, was very different. It was the same as an acting job.
Right.
We were expected to learn the lines, and I played Shere Khan, the tiger. So they could get a true reaction from Mowgli. I did scare him. I purposely didn't. I did not talk to the little boy, and I wanted him to be fearful of me. So when they were filming him, there was a true reaction of fear.
Nice.
So when you stepped onto the nowadays, well, on this particular motion capture we did, when you stepped onto the arena, there was huge television screens around the outside, and I could see myself as a tiger.
Yeah.
I had to learn to walk like a tiger.
Wow, right.
So when I walked, I could see Shere Khan walking as a tiger.
Yeah.
That's how they filmed it, and then obviously they added the voices for the A-listers later on.
Yeah.
But we were on it for months. It was a long time. Very interesting. It's difficult. It's technical.
Yeah.
Because there's no trees and there's nothing. You know,
Yeah.
it's just people and wood and cardboard boxes. So when you see Mowgli running along a tree or something, it's just the boxes running on.
Yeah.
In reality, that's added in later on. You know, there's a lot of special effects, but they needed the real boy and the main actors as a cue. If you ever watch Jungle Book again, any of the talking animals were real people.
Right.
They were real actors.
Right.
And any of the animals that you see in the background, they were just cartoons that were added in during the editing.
I really enjoyed the version that was done. I thought it was incredible. I mean, your motion capture. I mean, obviously people think of like Andy Serkis and that sort of stuff, and you're right. It kind of, it's moving along so quickly now. I mean, you must have noticed such huge differences in the time that you've been an actor in terms of technology and what can be done now. We talked about Rogue Warrior, what you can do on a tiny budget with these incredible cameras and so forth.
Because drones now. You don't need a helicopter anymore. You just use a drone now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So
that could understand.
Yeah. Listen, mate, I've taken up your time. I do appreciate the time that you're giving me. It's been great talking to you. I really enjoyed it. Even though you're a Liverpool fan, I'll put that to one side. I can live with that. We'll be back. Leeds will be back one day. Listen, mate, all the best for the future. Hopefully, if I can get down, I'll try and look you up when you're at Edinburgh in April. Good luck with everything else that you're doing. I loved you in Rogue Warrior. I thought you were a badass piece of, in that. And maybe I'll see you in future Rogue Warrior. Who knows? You
never know.
All right, mate. You take care. All right, man.
All right, cheers, Stu.
Take care, mate. You take care, mate. Bye.